Okay, in order to genuinely improve at the awesome and peculiar game of golf, it's all about the approach that we're taking. Solid contact golf, the R3 approach, the anatomy of playing and improving at the game of golf is all about that approach. Throughout the R3 approach, you will continuously hear us say, let's do good work, because that's precisely what it takes in order to genuinely improve at this awesome and peculiar game. As we've pointed out, the R3 approach, if we are truly working on the right things in the right way and at the right time, it's because we're using the right approach. The R3 approach breaks that process down into 6 component parts. Each component gives us a new approach or a new way to understand how we actually look at our improvement process. We begin the whole process by understanding an overall strategy. That overall strategy is to continuously do good work, as we say, developing our golf games to the point where it can be seen and felt to be a mechanically sound, physically athletic, and tactically fluid process for playing the game. This overall strategy is going to be backed up by 4 tactics or 4 goals. Tactic or goal number 1 is to elevate our belief system or our consciousness as a golfer. In order to successfully do this, we have to understand the next 3 tactics, and that is to understand what a mechanically sound and repeating golf swing and stroke motion truly is, to understand what a physically athletic swing and stroke motion truly is, and then, most importantly, understand the tactical process of mistake reduction when we're actually playing. Let's have a look at the 6 components here. Of course, as we say when we talk about teeing up the R3 approach, it's all about provoking some good thought, stimulating some good enthusiasm, and correctly and sufficiently directing our actions, our efforts towards the right things in the right way and at the right time. So it's all about thought, enthusiasm, and effort in order to truly and genuinely improve at the awesome and peculiar game of golf. Component number 1 in the R3 approach is the blending puzzle. The blending puzzle is presented in 3 different versions, one for each level, let's say, on the competitive ladder, beginning with the social recreational player. The blending puzzle presents for us 16 characteristic traits that all golfers possess. Throughout the R3 approach, we'll have a look at each one of these pieces, talk about each one of these pieces in such a way that we can effectively begin to develop them. We all possess them in order to truly improve and stay on the competitive ladder, continue climbing that competitive ladder, that is. We'll be improving each one of these pieces as we go. The second presentation of the puzzle is for the social recreational level player. As you can see, each one of the pieces are becoming a little more developed. And then ultimately, the competitive and tournament level player puzzle presents the puzzle in a fully developed form, showing us how each one of the pieces has now developed to a point where it is a more refined and developed condition. Notice too that each time throughout the R3 approach, in fact, you'll see certain words that are written in red. Well, we need to pay close attention actually to the words written in red, because they carry a little more meaning in terms of genuinely achieving that overall strategy of raising our level of consciousness as a golfer. Okay, component number 2 in the R3 approach is the 5 universal laws. The 5 universal laws, the universal laws actually are the same now as they've always been and will always continue to be. We need to know what these laws are. 2 of them, laws 1 and 5, have to do with our mind, while the other 3 laws, laws 2, 3, and 4, have to do with our club and body. So component number 2 in the R3 approach has to do with the 5 universal laws of golf. Component number 3 in the R3 approach has to do with the 4 perspectives of game improvement. If and when we have a problem with our game, we need to know from which perspective it's going to be best that we begin our improvement efforts. There are 4 different perspectives to play in the game of golf. Each one of them has to do with a different aspect of what's involved, from our mind to our body to our club. We have to understand the different perspectives and how to best start from each perspective in terms of fixing a particular problem that we might be having with the game. And then component number 4 in the R3 approach is the 8 facets. The 8 facets of the ready, set, go swing process has to do with the 8 aspects or agenda items that we need to pay attention to when we're physically working on our golf swing or our putting stroke for that matter. No matter what method it is that we're exploring, these 8 facets are going to be the same across the board in terms of things that we need to be paying attention to when we're out there on the practice tee working on our games. The 8 facets, component number 4 here, the 8 facets, is summed up by the ready, set, go swing process. In other words, as we think about and work on our golf swing, it can be summed up by understanding that the whole process of swinging a golf club is going to take place along the lines of a rhythmical ready, set, go swing process. So component number 4 provides a nice clean agenda for us in terms of things that we need to be paying attention to when we are in fact physically working on our golf swing and putting stroke again for that matter. Since we're talking about practice, it leads directly into component number 5 in the R3 approach, and that is the 4 types of practicing. We need to know that effective practice is only effective when it in fact has a purpose, has a good direction. We need to know that there are 4 different types of practicing that we can take advantage of as we go about working on our golf games, from regular or result-based practicing to technique or process-based practicing, to deep and deliberate practice, to sensory practice. These 4 different types of practicing are very important in terms of genuinely improving the way it is that we play the game. And then the 6th component in the R3 approach has to do with the preparation, performance, and analysis cycle. We go through this cycle with practically everything we do in life for that matter, but as it relates to the game of golf, we will be preparing to play, we will be actually playing, and then we should be analyzing how we've played effectively. Well, as we continue to cycle through the preparation, performance, and analysis cycle and actually become better tacticians in the process, it's then and only then that we genuinely improve the way that we play. One of the tenets of the R3 approach is that when we're involved with the awesome and peculiar game of golf, we're both player and competitor, teacher and coach, all at the same time. Well, as we become better players and better competitors, better teachers and better coaches, it's then and only then again that we will genuinely be improving at the awesome and peculiar game of golf. So this was a quick look at the 6 components of the R3 approach. Throughout the R3 approach book, we'll be getting into a good amount of detail regarding how we can take each of these components, better understand them, and have it genuinely help us to improve the way it is that we play. Okay, continue having some fun looking at the R3 approach. The entire book has 18 chapters in it, one for each hole that you might play on a 18-hole golf course, for instance. Each of those chapters addresses some aspect of what's involved with playing and improving at the game. Over time, we continuously refer to these different 18 chapters as a reference that we can use and reuse for the purpose of continuously improving and learning how to better approach improving actually the way it is that we play. Okay, have fun looking at the R3 approach, and again, as we always say in the R3 approach, let's continue doing good work.